too bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she was 14, so she had a pretty good life there. So now, let's introduce you to everyone here, and then we'll tell people who you are. So I've got Bill DeWeese and
Hey, Tim.
Andrew Heimers.
Hello.
We've got over in the corner there, we've got the gambling ninja.
Hey, Tim.
Okay.
Okay.
Joanna Falk, Michael Potter. Now, all very interesting people with interesting backgrounds. I'll just give you the quick summary. Bill DeWeese, professional voiceover artist, making real money from the Chicagoland area. The gambling ninja makes his full-time living, 21 years as a gambler, makes over $250,000 a year, doing just gambling with a system that no one knows, and he keeps secret. We've got Andrew Heimers. Andrew is a relationship expert, has written close to 500,000 words on the topic of relationships, specifically as it relates to men. Joanna Falk is an educator, a PhD, who teaches teachers how to teach better. Michael Potter, a lawyer and a former military guy, a veteran of Desert Storm, who is a legal guy as well as an asset protection attorney.
Okay.
So we have a fairly illustrious crew. So there you got some people. You tell them who you are and why I asked you to come here, because I thought that this stuff would be very valuable. By the way, did you get a chance you were just here in Vegas, right? You just came back from Vegas.
I did, yeah.
And
what's the National Finals Rodeo, which is there, and that's why I would have loved to have stopped by there, but I'm headed out again tomorrow morning. So for my trade show consulting side of the business, November, December is still just a crazy couple of months for me. But after this next meeting, I'll hopefully be done until the new year.
Okay. Shoot, tell people who you are, and I want them to understand a little bit about how your business model developed as it relates to some of the membership stuff.
Sure. So I have a kind of a weird background. I was a police officer with LAPD for 7 years and was a day trader. My first membership site was all about how to trade online, and I wrote an ebook. Well, it wasn't even an ebook. Back then it was a printed book. I literally printed a book about how I was trading online in the mornings and then working as a cop at night. My shift was 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. I was a single guy, didn't need to sleep much at that time, so I would trade the markets all morning, and then go chase bad guys at night. And went looking for a convention to learn more about how to trade online, and couldn't find one. So called a friend of a friend of a friend who knew somebody who had started Comdex years ago, where I'd worked on that team in the meeting planning side of it. Called her and said, I know nothing about trade shows. I know that there are booths. There are people that walk in between the booths. That's all I know about shows. And she helped us start one. I had a business partner, and we did 11 shows over the next 4 years. Did well enough with that I could quit being a police officer full-time and do just the trade show business. And I'm still a reserve officer. I still go put a uniform on 2 or 3 times a month and go work patrol, just because I loved it. It was a hard decision for me to quit. But that was my first kind of parlay into selling content, because I really think of trade shows and seminars and conventions as content, just live in front of people. And got my first experience selling content online at that same time when I sold this book that I'd written. Basically, a couple of people had asked me, before day trading was even this fad, how I was trading stocks online. And this was like in 96. And so I got tired of answering the question all the time, actually. So I wrote this 5-page Word document talking about the charts that I was watching and how I found good stocks to trade. And that 5 pages, I just kind of added to it every week as I started to do more trading. And so 5 pages became 10, became 50, became 80. And I didn't even think about it at the time. And I gave it to a friend of mine. He said, what are you doing giving this away? You should sell this. So I did. I said, well, I'll guess at a price. I'll sell it for $35.95 or something like that. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go. It's good.
Okay. And then, so a couple of weeks after I started selling it, this magazine called Wired magazine, who was relatively new at that time too, called me and said, "We hear about this cop who trades and makes money trading currencies in the morning, so we want to come out and interview you." And so they came out, took a picture of me, interviewed me, and there was an article in Wired magazine about me. And there was no link to my website and no mention of me, but obviously people Googled me, and I sold about, after that, a good 50 or 60 copies a day for a month probably.
Nice.
And then that just got me, just obviously stuck on selling content and doing that online, over and over again. And then on the membership side of things, I started a membership site where, kind of along the same lines of why I started this trade show, I wanted to talk to other traders, and I couldn't really find other people to talk to. I wanted to hear how they traded. So I started interviewing traders. I'd get them on the phone and record them just for my own purposes so I could listen to them over and over again and put them up on our website for free. Eventually realized, because at first I thought, I'm going to do advertising. Advertising is the way to go. That's what everybody's doing, selling ads against their content. But I got so tired of being on the phone all the time with advertisers, trying to get them to renew and get new advertisers. And what I really wanted to do was talk to traders. So I said, I'm going to dump the total advertising model. I'm going to turn this free site into a paid membership site. And we started just experimenting with different membership offers, monthly, semi-annual, annual, lifetime, and kind of have settled on over the last 3 years. I'm still testing. I test everything with our membership sites, but we made more money in that first year than I did probably in the previous 3 or 4 years just trying to do it as an ad site. So I'm a big firm believer that for 99.9% of the websites out there, advertising is not the way to go. You'll never have enough visitors to make it happen, especially for a niche site. That paid content and membership sites are the way to go.
I would agree. So now, as I told you, I think when we spoke, I was able to interview Vinton Cerf, one of the guys who actually started the internet. And I asked him a question about Chris Anderson's book Free, and saying how everything digital is tending towards free. And he said, well, it is, but I don't quite agree with Chris, he said. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about the membership site? How, what kind of a model do you use to get people to eventually pay for the content? Is there free material and paid material, or how do you work it? What are your prices? What's your method of getting them to sign on?
So it's kind of better told when I tell you about how I started doing it. And when we first went from a free site where we were doing a weekly interview with a very successful stock trader, when we went to a paid model, the first thing, the first month was just dealing with all the hate mail that we'd get. I will never pay for anything online. I will never pay for I'll never visit your site again. And we were prepared for that. We knew that that's fine because we don't want you here anyway. It's basically the way we thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, in a not so nice way. Our feeling was, look, we're working hard to produce this content. I'm getting traders that you'll never be able to access because you don't have the contacts that I have. And I work hard at making this good stuff. It deserves to be compensated. And so we got rid of all those folks. We started building our email list. And initially, we had this archive of about 150 interviews. And so we did a monthly membership where...
Hey, Tip, were these
you
audio?
joined for the month. You got access...
Were those audio or video interviews?
Yes, they were audio. Yeah, they were all audio. Because at the time, and still most of our interviews are audio, because I'm talking to traders who sometimes it takes me a year to get on the phone, and just having another kind of two heads talking isn't a lot of value for this particular audience. Now, if I have charts, which we do sometimes, we refer to the charts, and so we have screenshots of things. That's what we try to do. But most of it is just audio, because for these traders, there's nothing in it. We kind of specialize in getting traders who don't sell anything. They don't have a newsletter. They don't have a website. Maybe they have a blog, but they don't even sell anything on their blog. So there's really nothing in it for them to talk to me. So I have to call in a lot of favors from friends and say, maybe somebody helped you out early on. How about you helping out another person? And so it's all I can do really to get them on the phone, let alone have them send me a bunch of charts and do video screenshots of the trades. So mostly audio, still is to this day. The trouble with our first membership issues was that we charged like $99 a month, but you had access to everything right away. And if you stopped and then came back 6 months later, you got access to everything. And right away, we knew this was a problem. It didn't occur to me at the time, but the biggest thing we learned right away is if they can get tomorrow everything they can get today at the exact same price, why join today? Let's just wait till tomorrow. And that was a big thing for us. So we tried a couple of different things. We said, first of all, for our monthly members, you only get the most current 4 interviews, and that's it. As long as you stay a member, you'll get every interview we do, every piece of content going forward. But the moment you stop, and if you come back, you're going to lose everything in between. So there was an instant incentive to stay members. And we raised the price continually too. So not only were you getting a lower price and grandfathered in at whatever price you were at for as long as you stayed a member, but if you stopped, you missed out on the interviews that were put out on the site during that time. So instead of having people join for a month and then quitting, we started to finally see people stay on for a long time. But we still had this issue with this particular industry where there's a lot of turnover. And depending on the niche that people are in, this may or may not be an issue for them. In the online trading business, there's a lot of turnover. People come into this industry, either learn what they're doing and start to trade well, or they blow out a $2,000 E-Trade account and don't come back. They say, trading's not for me. I'm going back to letting my broker do what I was doing before, or just, I'm going to focus on my retirement account. And so we realized that the typical stay rate, the stick rate for our memberships was about 4 to 5 months. And in the online trading industry, that's pretty good, actually. For most people you'll talk to, it's 2 to 3 months. It's very short. Wow. So we said, with this monthly membership, there's always this, every month they see that on their bill, there's this kind of feeling like, do I want to go for the next month? Do I want to keep this up? So we said, let's try something. Let's take all that pressure away. If our members only stay 4 to 5 months, let's create a lifetime membership and make it 5 times what a normal year membership was. So right now, our lifetime membership is $1,500. You pay once, you're a member for life. You get access to everything. We have some special things for our lifetime members, special webinars that only they get. But we found in that industry, people really wanted to just pay once and not have to worry about paying every month or deciding every month. And when our stick rate was only 3 to 4 months anyway, we said, let's get that money up front, and then they don't have to worry about canceling because they become members for life. We have a ton of content in there. So that worked really well for us. And we put the lifetime membership on sale to create some urgency occasionally. In fact, when they join our list, they get one opportunity to get the lifetime membership for $4.99 and then never again.
Well, got a question.
So,
Tim?
It creates, yeah.
Got a question for you. How do you deal with the people who signed up for the lifetime membership at full fare and then see these offers?
Well, because everybody who signs up gets that opportunity to do it on sale within like the first 3 days, or it's very soon after, and it takes us about that long a time to convince them that we're worthwhile anyway.
Okay.
So typically, the only people that become lifetime members who haven't gotten the sale price are people that knew they had the option, missed it, and then do it anyway. Now, if somebody calls me and says, "Tim, I was out of town, or I blew it, or I didn't realize," we're typically going to give it to them. I'm not a stickler on that.
Yep.
But everybody's been given the opportunity to get that sale price. And so if it takes you a year to figure out that we were worth getting a lifetime membership, that's fine, but you're going to pay a lot more for it. And that's how we create the urgency for people to come on board and join up. Gotcha.
Okay, and so now your lifetime membership is priced at $4.99. Your monthly is still at $99?
We actually don't offer a monthly anymore, and there's a reason for that. We found that the monthly people, the people that were on the monthly, were a lot more, and we still have people that are monthly members that are grandfathered in. We just don't offer that membership anymore. We haven't for about a year now, because we found out that we had people that were there just for a month and left and never came back. We just found that our overall we may be getting less members, but our revenue was greater when we offered longer-term memberships. So we offer a one-year membership right now with the retail price at $4.99 and a lifetime membership at $14.99.
Now,
and we just found that that's the combination for us.
Now, I know that there are some legal issues as it relates to offering lifetime memberships on anything. How do you deal with that, and what's your position?
Right. So when we sell the lifetime membership, we really sell it as you're getting lifetime access to our archives. And we put on there that you would usually, we're very careful with the wording, we sell it in a way that they're getting lifetime access to our what is now 250 interviews over 120 hours. So you're getting access to that database. And we sell it in a way that we say that anything that comes in after this, if we do interviews and add that to the archive library, it's gravy. It's not really part of the lifetime access. It's just something we're adding on as a bonus. And that's the way we sell it. So we sell it in a way that we've got enough content now so that we can sell it that way, that we don't have to promise them anything. They're not going to get something every single day. But if we do add something, they get access to it for free. And that's kind of how we position it.
I've got two other questions that come up right away on that, Tim. First one is, what are you doing in terms of driving traffic to a site, I presume, to get people to buy, A, and how are you increasing those conversion rates? And the second question would be, once you have them as members, what additional monetization can you do with those folks?
Right. So first question, what's works best for us? We've tried pay-per-click, we've tried advertising, we've tried banners, we've tried a lot of that. What we found has worked best for us is to go out and find websites that have a good audience for us. Maybe it's another website that has a trading newsletter that's a paid trading newsletter, preferably. It could be a website that has a free site or free information. Maybe it's ad supported, but paid is best because they are already buyers of content. And we say, let's do just an email marketing trade. I will send out a message for you that talks about your site and your products, and it won't be an affiliate link. You send out a message to your site offering a free interview. That's it. It's very, very soft sell. So they send out a message to their email list that says, hey, Tim's been interviewing traders for 2 years. He's a pretty good trader himself, but he knows how to ask good questions that get to the heart of the matter about how to trade stocks online. Go download a free interview. Very, very soft sell. They join our site that way, and then we have an autoresponder that lasts almost a good 6 months now of at least once a week content. Wow. And the first couple of emails are content, and we intersperse pitches for our products. The site goes on sale for them. They're offered the lifetime membership at a deep discount. And then after that, if they join, great. If they don't, then the only way we monetize right now is because we don't have any of our own products, is we will use affiliate products of products that we trust. And believe me, there's a lot of junk out there in the trading space. Yep. But of friends of mine and people I know in the industry that have good products or good education, will do affiliate offers for their products because, hey, I'm fine with the fact that my product may not be great for you, but maybe somebody else's is a better fit. And that's fine. I can still monetize the list that way. And so it's our own product, and then after that, it's just affiliate. And that's how we monetize it from there.
Got it. And what have you found to be the most effective ways of getting your conversion numbers up? Where do you send people to get them to pitch them on the product and everything you've got?
For conversion for us, we found that the sweet spot is between week 2 and week 3 on our list. You know, for some people, it's within the first 48 hours. They've got to convince them that their content is worth buying and then get them to sign up. For us, it seems to be a little bit longer, probably because it's a higher priced item, a little bit longer, so 2 to 3 weeks. And so we give them some great stuff. We really front that first 2 weeks with really good content, some great examples of interviews we've done. We'll do a live webinar, hopefully every so often as well, that we can showcase a live interview we do with a trader. And then near the end of that 2 weeks, we say, because I'm a big proponent of you don't want to give free stuff away forever. At some point, they need to make a decision. And so I say, look, for 2 weeks we've given you some great stuff here. We think it's a good example of what you're going to get as a member or to get access to our site. So here's what we're going to do. We think you've got enough information. You've seen what we do. We're going to do one more thing, and that's say, lifetime membership is normally $1,499. For the next 3 days, we're putting it on sale for $499. And it creates that urgency, because I've always said, without urgency, nothing will sell, not the greatest content in the world. And we've given them, I think, enough time within our testing to see that 2 weeks is enough time. It's our sweet spot. Let's put it on sale. Let's try to get them closed. If they don't want to become members, that's fine, and they want to stay on the list, that's fine. We hammer them pretty good for 3 or 4 days to become a member. So some people who aren't happy with the daily email, it's once a day, and on the last day, it's 2 emails in 1 day. If they unsubscribe, that's fine, because they're probably not a prospect for us, and I understand that. But we want to get it across. We've tested all kinds of things. We send 1 email when the sale starts, and the day it ends, okay response. We found the best response and our best conversion when we email every day for 4 days and twice on the last day when it's due. And so everybody's kind of on their own. Emil, my brother, who's our software guy, has built our site, so it's almost on autopilot. Everybody is kind of on their own steps toward the sale price and then in their own level on our autoresponder chain. So we've automated a lot of it. And just sending them a great content, not being too pushy at first, and at the end being pretty pushy. And that's what converts for us. And for a lot of people, it's hard to ask for that sale, but we've gotten pretty good at saying, we think our product is the best out there. It's different than anything else. It's unique. There's not a lot of people doing what we do. Well, there's nobody doing what we do that I know of. So time to join.
Let me just ask you this. Now, I'm assuming from what you said that all the people that are going into the autoresponder series are people who are signing up to get something for free. In other words, they have come to either your site or seen a link from one of your buddies that says, "Here, get a sample interview for free." Then you start on the series of autoresponders, and then you hammer them at the end to make them buy. Is that right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So now, do you mind sharing some of your numbers? You don't have to share some numbers in terms of. I'm not interested in the absolute numbers as much as I am in the percentages. What percentage of the people that you get into the autoresponder series end up buying a membership?
1%.
1%.
It's been 1%. It'll fluctuate between 1 and 1.5%. So I know for every 100 people that I got on my list, that's worth $500 to me minimum, because that's if they buy the on sale price. So every 100 people, it's uncanny how it's always 1%. And we've tried lower price stuff to get that percentage higher. We tried even more expensive stuff to try and see what would happen. And we've just found that $500 price range to be on sale is where we make the most revenue. I'm not concerned about having the most customers. And I think that's a mistake a lot of people want. They want lots and lots of members. For people who had their membership site is basically a forum, that might be important. But I'm looking to generate the most revenue possible and still provide. When I say that, I mean, and provide value for that. I'm not just saying I'm trying to just grab as much money as I can.
Yeah.
But it's 1%. So every 100 people that sign up, I'm going to sell at least one of them on a lifetime membership. And this year will be our best year. We've only been a membership site for about 2.5 years, and we'll generate about $260,000 is what it's going to look like by the end of the year for the access for our site. Last year was about $165,000. So we're doing pretty well, but I've really ramped up those trades and those to get our mailing list, because I know now it's purely a numbers game. The more people I can get signed up to the list, for every 100 people, I'm going to sell one of them.
Now, what about, Tim, what you're still offering the yearly membership, so what percentage of the people who buy the lifetime versus the yearly?
Very few. I think we, probably in the last 6 months, because we offer, I think the yearly membership is expensive at $500, and so we maybe get out of 100 memberships we sell, maybe 2 would be annual members, and that's even hard to say too, because when they get the offer for the lifetime membership for that same price, and somebody says, "Hey, I just bought the year membership," I say, "No problem. We'll convert you to a lifetime membership," and I do it. But we've had people that buy annual memberships, and I've literally sent them the same email, and I never hear from them. And I've said, "By the way, you bought a yearly membership, but we'll make it a lifetime if you want." I never hear from them again. It's the oddest thing. So we have a very small percent, maybe 1 or 2% are annual members, but almost all of them are lifetime.
I hope those people who don't opt for the yearly and that don't opt for the lifetime and bought the yearly, then re-up the following year and pay another $500.
By that time, let me try to think. We haven't offered the year. I don't think we've offered the annual and the lifetime at the same time for more than a year. So we're coming up on that issue. It's a good point. I think in February we'll have to deal with that, whether or not they don't auto-renew. So they get an automatic email that's going to say, your membership is coming due. I guess Emil and I have to think about that, whether we just tell them that we're going to make them automatically lifetime. But I think in our case, the 1 year is almost like the decoy membership.
Yeah.
Because and the lifetime membership being so highly priced, when we bring it down to that price and make it the same price as an annual, that's part of that urgency package. So we'll see. It's a problem I guess we're going to have. We're going to have to deal with at some point.
No, that sounds good. So now here are a couple questions here. One of them is on content. How much content do you add and how often, A? And B, what are your plans for increasing the amount of traffic you get, because your numbers are 1 out of 100 will do something. So 2 things: how do you add new content, and how do you add more traffic?
Yeah, good question. So we used to do 1 new interview a week, but we've always only said you're guaranteed 1 a month.
Right.
And so we're still doing 1 a week right now, but our plan is in 2011 to start ratcheting that back a little bit, because it is a lot of work to find these traders that nobody else has talked to. To find the guy in Cincinnati, Ohio, that's making $1 million trading online at home or from a proprietary trading firm, it's difficult to find those guys, and then to find one that wants to talk to you about what he's doing is even tougher. And so we're going to ratchet that back down again, and we've always almost only promised 1 a month. We're going to probably go to 2 a month, but I'm always like ahead of myself in trying to under-promise what we're going to give and then over-deliver on that. So the short answer is we're doing 1 a week. We only have to do 1 a month. We'll probably start to do 1 a month in middle 2011.
You mean,
on the traffic side of things, go ahead.
You mean 2 a month, right? Not 1 a month.
2 a month, and then we're going to ratchet down eventually, get all the way down to 1 a month.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Traffic is an interesting issue for us because, I talk to my brother all the time about how frustrating it is that it is a constant, what's the word? The hamster wheel to get the traffic. I always thought that even with behind a membership wall, that we'd push and push the bobsled, and eventually we'd get in the bobsled and we'd just go downhill. And that's never happened, and it's really never happened on any of our membership sites. And I hear about people talking about that happen, but I'll be honest with you, I've never been able to make it happen. When I stop promoting, when I stop going out to try and get trades for emails once a week, my traffic starts to dry up. Yep. It drives me crazy. I keep thinking, at some point, I'll just be able to put this thing on autopilot. And the honest truth is, and it's not what everybody wants to hear, but it's always a push. We're constantly having to push to get more traffic. It doesn't help that everything's behind the membership wall. Google would probably like it, of course, better if everything was free and all of our transcripts were nicely SEO'd. I know being behind the membership wall means we're going to have to work harder to get traffic. But the good thing for me is that there are always people who are growing their lists in the financial space, and if they have a newsletter or a trading site or trading software, I'm not coming to my end where I'm saying, like, God, I've traded with everybody. Now who am I going to trade with? Because I think when that happens, if it ever does happen, it will be somebody I traded with 2 years ago, and I can just start over again because they'll have a ton of new people on their list. So I wish I could say that, I've just been able after 2 years to finally just the traffic just keeps going up in Google Analytics. But the honest truth is, if I stop promoting it, my analytics just start going down again.
I hear you. Again, a lot of people are lying to people about what the real thing is that's happening is, so I appreciate your honesty. Here's my next one. What's your end game for this particular product or program?
Yeah. One of my definite faults in being an entrepreneur is that I get bored really easily. Trader Interviews, which is our flagship membership site, that's what this is called, is the longest I've ever held on to anything in my life. Every trade show I've ever started, every conference, every other website, I've sold within 4 years max, usually 2 years. So I love starting stuff. I really enjoy going after a niche group that isn't serviced well by some sort of content and selling them great content that helps them do whatever they want to do. I am terrible at this part, at going out and trying to find more people to trade with, more traffic. I am not a great manager. I am a great person who loves to start sites. I can't stand maintaining them. So what does that mean? It means that sometimes I sell things too early. Sometimes I've sold things too late. But that's okay. I've done really well with my businesses, and I like starting stuff and then selling them at about the 2-year mark. So I think for Trader Interviews, we're not near that point yet where we're ready to sell it. I think there's more to do with it. But that moment that I start to get the feeling that, first of all, it's not fun anymore. I don't enjoy it. I trade myself, so I still enjoy talking to these traders. But the morning I get up, and this has happened to me literally, Fred, on a trade show. I got up one morning to start to sell booth space, and I said, this sucks. I'm out. And I called my competitor and offered to sell it to him. The day that happens, I'll do it. I'll pick up the phone, and I'll call somebody who does something similar, and I'll ask if they want to buy it.
Now, I have a client.
I know that's not,
Sorry, I have a, no, that makes a lot of sense to me. I completely understand. I had a buddy of mine who was a client who ended up selling a site having to do with golf. And this guy was a PhD and a CPA, and he knew numbers really well. And so he was doing about the same amount of in terms of the volume. He was doing about $260,000 a year in gross receipts. And he was sort of coming up with his own analysis of what the site was worth. And someone came in and offered him $1.2 million, and he said, "Baby, you got it." So now, what do you think the proper multiple is to look at for considering selling an online business like this? What kind of a multiple would you be guessing for or looking for?
Yeah, on a site that it doesn't take me to do it, the trouble with Trader Interviews is that it's relatively specialized about who can do the interviews. You got to know something about trading to ask the right questions of these guys. And so the tough part with Trader Interviews is that I really have to somehow figure out a way to step away from it first for a while before I go out and think about selling it. But I think 4 to 5 times right now in this environment, 4 to 5 times gross, I think is reasonable. If you can get 8 to 10 times, that's fantastic. I think right now that's tough to do. And the more kind of you are inextricably linked to it, the tougher it is to get that higher multiple without staying on board and maybe doing a 2 or 3 year employment agreement, which I'm a terrible employee and never have been a good employee. That's why I do my own thing.
Yep. I'm
just awful. When I've sold my businesses, people tell me, "Hey, how about a 1 year employment agreement?" I said, "You do not want me working for you. You will regret it." I'm just no good when I don't have some skin in the game. So I have to figure out a way to extract myself from this a little bit more, because I'm still the one that does the interviews, and find somebody that enjoys doing it, or somebody that wants to buy it that could be me in that position. So that's kind of what I have to wrangle with here.
I can totally relate to not being a good employee. I think we have a bunch of people in this room who are probably in the same position. So no love lost with not having to work for someone else. I'm with you there. Hey, this is great stuff, and I think very valuable for the people here. One of the things the reason why you and I got together was you saw or heard about, or somehow we found out about my program on interviewing. And now tell people a little bit about this next one that you have. And by the way, did you have a chance to listen to what I sent you?
I listened to the first one. I didn't listen to the whole first one. I did. I listened to that all of it. The second product that you did about the one that's got some of the ebooks in it, I haven't listened to that yet, so I've still got to do that.
No problem. So tell me about the interviewing. Yeah. Go ahead.
This product came out of people talking about, Tim, you've built this business on basically a membership site that is nothing but interviews as the content. I love interviews. I'm preaching to the choir here to you, Fred, and probably everybody that's in the room, but interviews are fantastic for the versatility of the content, the natural, you don't have to worry about all that junk about, only this many keywords, because they just naturally flow into the conversation when you've got transcripts. So I think anybody can build an entire site of a membership site based on just interviews. They're easy to create, and once you have them, you can make a ton of different things with it. So we put together this course called Interview Income that is all about how we do this, and it's all about how we create membership sites, and we have a couple of others that are doing nothing but just interviewing people in that industry and making that available in different forms, making videos where we sync the audio with slides that I make as I'm, kind of like, almost like those VH1 videos that have pop-ups that tell you a little bit about what was going on during that time when they were making the video. I create these slides in PowerPoint, sync it to the audio, make a video out of it. We create ebooks out of the transcripts, a podcast out of the audio, and that is the membership site. And so Interview Income is that product we created about how we do this and how we make money. And one of the tests we're just finishing up now is, we've got all these opt-ins pages for internet marketing folks. We wanted to sell our opt-in content. So we're selling our opt-in content for $1.99. And then we wanted to see if people that actually buy the content that's the opt-in content that mostly people get away for free, that we put a little more time into, if those people would convert better to members of our full-blown Interview Income product. So, but if you're online, you can go to interviewincome.com and see what we're doing there. But it's just about it's a series of videos and some audio podcasts and some articles just about how our entire business. We just open it up and tell them how we do it and how we create revenue with it.
Before we got on Skype here, one of the things that we were looking at, I told the tale of woe of my having invested close to $50,000 to create some software to create membership sites, and I lost my tail end and ended up with absolutely nothing when it was all over. So I mean, there's an even longer story, but it's more painful and more boring. So here's my question for you. What platform are you using, and what platforms did you consider, and why did you end up with the one you have, and which one is it?
So WordPress, that's the short answer. WordPress is the basis for all the sites, and we combine WordPress with, we use magicmembers.com because we had our own authorized.net payment integration, and we wanted to use it. We didn't want to buy an additional product then to plug in. So for us, it's WordPress plus magicmembers.com plus amember.com sometimes. For other people who don't have their own merchant account, we suggest WordPress plus wishlist member, and then they can either use one shopping cart or something else along those lines. But because we had stuff already built, Magic Members is what we found that worked for us. We still haven't found the ultimate membership service yet. So we kind of still have to cobble it together to a certain extent. And we've considered creating a product, but it would be an enormous project. We're just not there yet.
Don't do it. I tried it, lost money, stay in another business.
Is that what it was, Fred?
Because what
software to do the. Okay.
Here was the story. I'm a movie freak, and I wanted to create. I saw this guy who was. It's the real short version of the long story is I met this guy in a mattress shop, and he was trying to sell me a mattress, which he ended up selling me. And I said to him after he was selling me, I thought, this guy's a little bit too savvy to be just a mattress salesman. What else do you do? I asked him, and he goes, well, I run the single most trafficked site on the internet related to things having to do with Broadway and theater. And I said, really? What is it? And he goes, It's called Talkin' Broadway. And I go, man, that's really cool. I said, I'm really interested in film. Maybe you could sort of help me. I said, but first off, what's the coolest thing that's happened from running that site? And he goes, well, last 3 years I got invited to the Tony Awards. And I'm going like, holy crap, I'm thinking Oscars. I'm like, I want to get invited to the Oscars. So I put together the site called, he's got Talkin' Broadway. I put together Talkin' Hollywood. Then I went home and I looked at his site and I asked him questions when I came back to get my mattress. I said, what are you using to put together your forums and all that? I see you've got a lot of stuff going on. He says, oh, I just piece it together with a lot of free stuff. So I went home and I said to myself, oh, no, we can't do this. We got to do something more sophisticated and something that's really integrated and has everything. So that's when I went on my spending tear, spending a lot of money to end up with absolutely nothing. And I realized I'm not in the software business. That's not my job. So, I mean,
thankfully, go ahead.
The issue then becomes one of, you think, because my thinking was, and I'm sure it's the same as you, if you develop exactly the platform you want, you can eventually then sell it and monetize what you put in to develop what you wanted. And the problem is you're not in the software business and neither am I. So at least as far as I'm going, I'm not doing that again. If you want to do that, let me know how it works out for you.
Yeah, thankfully, having a brother who's a software engineer that I stole away from his previous company to come work for me, and helps. I mean, I can call him on a Sunday night at 11 o'clock. I probably will tonight and say, hey, wouldn't it be cool if our website did this? I'm sure he doesn't love it. His wife probably doesn't love it, but the fact that he can have it, so he'll program it and have it ready in an hour is awesome. I love that. Wow. That's great. Not everybody can have a brother as a software engineer, but even he would say, that is an enormous project. He doesn't think about actually the programming. He thinks about all the support that would have to go along with it.
Well, Tim, let me tell you my story, which is somewhat related. I had invested that $50,000 right before I met my current wife, and she is a software-trained engineer from MIT. And I asked her to take a look at the software that these guys had put together, and she says, "You're not considering selling this, are you? This thing's full of holes." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You can't sell this. I mean, this is a person who, was involved in programming and did programming and went to MIT." So I'm like, "Oh, really?" So then I really realized I had lost the 50 grand after she said that.
Yeah, and also the trouble is you think that everybody is going to have the exact same needs that you are, and the reality is that everybody wants something to be done a little bit differently. So you end up trying to do all the features for everybody, and you can't be all things to all people. So I think at this point, cobbling it together, it's gotten a heck of a lot easier than it used to be 5 years ago. But WordPress and all the plugins that are available, and most of the stuff is cheap. You can put it together pretty cheaply.
That sounds pretty good. Now, I believe, as you know, that I think I'm a brilliant interviewer, but I may have left off some questions. So I'm going to open it up to my illustrious group here to determine if I've left anything out. So does anybody have any question they want to ask Tim? Bill does. Let me ask.
Tim, this is Bill. Hey, I'm curious. Once you get that lifetime member, do you look for other ways to try to get a little monetize maybe outside of your online presence?
Yeah, no, we haven't, and that's one of our faults. We really need to create then another product, because obviously once you sell them the lifetime, what else are you going to do? They're lifetime members, right? I can't sell them the super cool, the super extra premium lifetime. I mean, they're in. So we've just focused on. We haven't had time basically to create our own product. That's just why we found we become affiliates of other people that have other good stuff that's complementary to us, and just sold theirs. But I have a feeling we're going to have to create something else that we can sell to them and give to them. And they've asked for it. We really have good stuff. So our members will say, "What else you got? Do you have other webinar series?" And I think here's the opportunity for us now is that we can create something that's a little less costly, maybe something that's $199 or something along those lines, or the famous $197, and maybe get our existing members to buy it, but also provide something at a price point that somebody who's just not going to be willing to pay $500 might be willing to do. Right. We can monetize that whole set of people as well.
Tim, let me suggest you come to Fred's Bootcamp. He might be able to help you out with that.
I know it. I'm disappointed that I couldn't make it this time.
Yeah, I am too, but I really believe that you are sitting on a real opportunity with these people that are lifetime members to sell them something of your own. And I mean, I would love to help work with you on that. Any other questions from the group? Yeah, my buddy Donnie, who's the gambling ninja. Why don't you come closer so he can see you here? This is our full-time professional gambler, which is basically similar to online trading. It's just done at a casino.
Yeah, hi Tim. Something that occurred to me is it would be very difficult for me to get like a upper echelon poker tournament winner to do interviews. And I was wondering, how do you persuade these experts to give these interviews for free?
Good question. And that's the question too. A lot of people ask me, well, if you're basically selling these interviews, what do your people that you interview feel about that? And it's a good question. It's a fair question. So part of the thing that I think that sets us apart from other people is that I've been talking with traders and been in the business because of the trade show business, have a pretty gigantic network of people in that industry. And it's not something that can be replicated easily. So I have a lot of friends who are traders, and so I just know a lot of people. So initially it was just people that I knew and say, hey, would you mind if I get you on the phone for 45 minutes and talk to you about how you trade? And for most of them, it was just them doing me a favor. For other people, it's somebody I know that I've heard of. I say, hey, you know Joe in Des Moines, Iowa, who's a great trader. I don't know him. Do you think you could introduce him to me and maybe ask him if he would be willing to talk to me? And a lot of that is just them. They're doing their friend a favor. So it's a lot of calling in of favors. And it's a lot like poker. I can see a poker person would not want to give away their secrets for trading. But there are two things I do here. First of all, I say, and most of these traders know, and I'll bet even the best poker players would know and would agree with the fact that I can show anybody how to play poker, how I play it. I can show anybody how to be the best trader possible, showing them exactly how I pick out the stocks every day to buy and sell. There are two things. Either someone is not going to be able to duplicate it because you can get them 90% of the way there, but that extra 10%, which is almost that sixth sense experience, doing it forever, knowing the game, just being there, you really can't teach somebody. That's got to be the experience part of it. So they realize that even if they had them looking over their shoulder for a month, they wouldn't be able to duplicate it exactly. And the second thing is that most people aren't going to put in the work to do it. That's the honest truth. And if you watch my video after you sign up for the newsletter on trader interviews, I tell them that. I say, here's why people will talk to me. Because these traders know that even if they tell me their deepest, darkest secrets, human nature says that 99% of them aren't going to do anything. And Fred, I think you and I have talked about that.
Yep.
That people will listen and then never implement it. They'll never do it.
Yeah.
And so...
But then they'll blame you.
I convinced them that... well, that maybe. So I convinced them that, A, you're not talking to the Wall Street Journal. I mean, as much as I'd love to think that I can sway the markets, I'm just not that large. And B, once in a while I'll put not a guilt thing, but I'll say, look, at some point somewhere, somebody probably showed you what to do,
yep,
or gave you some tips that kind of took you to the next level. How about doing that for somebody else? And that works too. So those two things together, I think, exactly. And it's at this point I've gotten big enough and well known enough that it's an ego thing for them too, right? To be interviewed on trader interviews, they know I only talk to the best people, and and we stroke their ego a little bit too. So all of those things combined, I've always said it's not as hard as you think it will be. I don't know the poker industry. So in poker, maybe there's this really extra, and I can see it being that way, a very secretive group where there are some things that somebody just won't share. But I think that you probably can convince enough of them to do it that you might be able to create enough content to start that membership site.
Well, I agree. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Now, I can see you and I have got to have more conversations because I can see a lot of areas of synergy here. But I want to thank you for getting off the plane and coming running over and getting on Skype and doing this.
No problem. And one of the things I was thinking about, Fred, on the plane, and you and I haven't talked about this, so I hope it's okay. And I haven't even talked to my brother about it. But Our interview income course is $1,495. I'll give it to everybody who's in the room. I'll just give you usernames.
Oh man! You just gained a lot of fans here.
No,
Oh, Tim, man,
That's great. Thank you very much.
You know what?
I'll get you.
No, it's my pleasure. And
Oh,
all I ask
now
is,
wait. You didn't.
What you think? You think it was great?
Tim, you didn't hear that. Donnie, who's the professional gambler, he gave me one time for my anniversary a huge suite at the Bellagio, and he just said, next time you're in town, you'll be well taken care of.
That's very nice.
Yeah,
Thank
just give
you.
me a few
Thank
days.
you. No, I
notice
mean,
and you're in.
to me, it's like.
Go ahead.
I didn't hear that.
No, he said, just give him a few days' notice, and you're in.
That's very kind. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cool.
No, I really feel like, just like in the training thing, that there are really no secrets. It's just that, and you're going to each have your own niche, so it's not like you're going to compete with me. And even if you did, that would be fine too. It's just that everybody's going to have their own niche, and if you can learn how to create it all with interviews, then I think it's a good thing. So anyway,
that's great. Well, hey, thank you.
Maybe I don't know, Fred, if they want to email me, and I'll give them the username and passwords, or generate it that way.
That would be great. But that's a really generous gift. We all thank you very, very much, and more importantly, I want to thank you for your time. And let's talk again soon.
Absolutely. Anytime. If anybody wants to email me, ask me any questions, I'll tell you exactly what we're doing that works and what doesn't work.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Thanks for your time. Take care. Good night.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, bud.
That's one of the best interviews I've ever seen live.